And after training, I got a call from the trainer, Jimmy Andrews, saying, you've got to go back to Stamford Bridge. The boss wants you there. And I went back, and he said, right, okay, son, get in my car. I said, where are we going? He said, you'll find out. And we drove into London, and we pulled up at the White House Hotel near Euston Station, and I'm sat in the reception there with him, and I said, what am I doing here? He said, you'll find out. He just kept saying, you'll find out. And sat there, and the revolving doors sort of started moving, and in walked Matt Busby and Jimmy Murphy.
Wow, how did you feel at that moment?
And I just looked up. I mean, I had completely no idea. The doc never said anything at all. But it was something like Matt just came straight over to Tommy, and he said, just sit there a minute. He was in charge. You knew the aura. He was in charge. And he said, we'll just check in and come back to you. Went and checked in and came back. And he said, well, Alex, pleased to meet you. And Jimmy, and he just said, right, Jimmy, you take Alex to your room and have a chat. And me and Tommy are going to have a chat in my room. So the crazy thing when I look back was I'm in this room with Jimmy Murphy. I mean, he was a real character, as I found out over the years. And he kept saying, now listen, son, Manchester United are a great team. We have George Best, we have Bobby Charlton, and we have Dennis Law, David Hurd, and Petty Crowns, and it just went on and on. And I said, you don't have to tell me.
I was just going to say, trying to sell you.
He said, but you'll enjoy it up north. We were very friendly and that. And then all of a sudden the door opened, and Tommy and Matt came in, and he said, right, Tommy, I'll leave you here. Come on, Alex, come and have a chat with me, son. And took into a room, and he just said, look, he said, everything's been agreed. The following morning, I had to meet them at Euston Station at 9:30 for the 10 o'clock train.
That is an absolute remarkable story. That is unbelievable, Alex.
Amazing.
What were Manchester United to you, and what was Matt Busby to you? Because obviously we're excited now when we hear that story, but for you, you could have been like, yeah, well, so what? You're a professional and you're playing, in the area you've grown up in. So what did it mean as Matt Busby walks in? Does that mean anything?
Of course, it does, because there's a simple reason which I probably missed out when we're talking about earlier, coming up from school. But in my last year at school, when I was 15, I had a little job. So that when I come home from school, I actually used to go to the corner shop, and I used to go and deliver groceries to old people, on my bike, and because I was at 15, I've got to tell you that I just knocked on this door. This guy who used to talk to me about football, and he came to the door and he was crying. This old guy was crying. I said, well, what's the matter? He said, have you not heard? I said, what? He said, the Manchester United planes crashed. He said, lots of players have lost their lives. And it hit me. It not only hit me as much then as what it done to him. He was a London lad, and I've got to tell you that it affected everybody right across the country, right across the world. And I knew how much it meant, Manchester United, and how it happened, obviously, on the travels to the European Cup. And here I am. How the hell have I come in this short time to be part of the same team,
You can only imagine how the news broke and how people found out and how they reacted. And really, you can only imagine that based on how the world is today. But what really was that like, with that guy telling you that news on the doorstep? Was it something that was big for a long time, or did you just get on with your day?
No. It was heartbreaking. You cried yourself for the simple reason that, I'd seen these players. I'd seen them play. And the people, I'm talking about London now. I assumed it was the same all over the country. And, paper-wise, media-wise, that everybody, the following day, I mean, see how our players who'd survived, how the ones who were injured, how they were getting on. And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. So Manchester United became, the number one topic all the time, how these players were, because they were innocent guys. They were honest professional football. And it made, I suppose, I mean, being hard, but I mean, I suppose that crash really actually made more supporters around the world become Manchester United supporters, in sympathy. And that's what you do get in sometimes like that.
Al, I've got to take you back to the European Cup, the 2 saves, Eusebio, and he actually applauded you. I mean, everybody speaks about it, but at the time, him bearing down on you, what was you thinking?
Well, I was actually, it was a situation, you play in finals and we were winning, and they scored 10 minutes from the end. There was no clocks in those days. There was no clocks, so you were always looking for the bench for someone to give you some idea, and they scored with 10 minutes to go, and because, it was humid, there was 100,000, and I've got to say that probably 80 or 90,000 were Manchester United supporters, but the actual fact was, when it was played through, I knew it wasn't long to go. And when that ball came through, the Wembley turf in those days, because we never really played at Wembley a lot in those days, and the Wembley turf used to sap his strength, and it used to slow the ball up and everything. And when the ball was played through, I actually came off my line of faction because I thought it's like a, 55, 45 ball to me or whatever, And I could see him coming down, and Tony was trying to get across. Bill was there, and Shea was trying to get across because they knew the danger.
Yeah.
And the ball slowed up. At a split second, and I'll be honest with you, Maisie, that in a split second, he wants to smash the goal. He wants to burst the back of the net. And I stepped back and went forward. And because he did that, he smashed it. Okay, he went basically straight at me, but it stuck in my chest, and that was it. But then,
and he actually applauded you.
Yeah, but I didn't see that. I didn't see that because my first reactions were, "There's not long left. I've got to start a counter attack." And my instructions were as a goalkeeper. When I got the ball, I wanted my fullbacks to go wide, because I wanted to release this, and because Tony Dunn had gone wide. And that was it. I threw him the ball, and then when I turned round, he was there sort of with his hands together. I didn't know anything more about that. I just, that was it.
Alex, I just want to ask you there is some people that have this ridiculous argument that Pele and Maradona are even compared to George Best. Was he the best for you?
Yeah, because, he was European Football of the Year. So was Bobby, so was Dennis, And how lucky and how fortunate was I to play in a team with 3 European Footballers of the Year, because that will never happen again, The fact that with George would beat 5, 6 players, score with his right foot, score with his left foot, head the ball with his head, and score great goals. That, and he would try that in training. I mean, the classic, you can ask Paddy this. I mean, when you see him, was we were playing Liverpool on the Saturday, and after training at the Cliff on the Friday, he came to Paddy and I, and he said, I want to try something out. He said, I've got to try this out. He said, and we said, well, what do you want? He said, look, we watched Liverpool, not on television. We should go and watch games. And he said that Bill Shankly had this back four of Emily Hughes, Ron Yates, Tommy Smith, Chris Lawler. Tommy Knights was goalkeeper. Not many teams scored at Anfield. Not many teams would score at Anfield because they played, Bill Shankly had them playing high up the pitch. So when any team came over that halfway line, they would win it, they would foul you. It doesn't make no difference. It stopped them scoring. But George knew he had pace, and he knew as the right ball was played at the right time, he could beat this system. And And what he did, he said to Paddy, he said, I want you to go in the old right half position, the cliff, with the ball. He said, and face that goal down there. He said, hey, you go and go against me up there. Do what you were doing again. And he said to Paddy, he said, right, Paddy, turn. He said, I'm standing on the halfway line, right on the touch line. He said, so when you hit the ball, I'm not going to be offside. And Paddy was a great passer of the ball. He just hit this ball. It went 20 yards down the left wing, and George was on it. And he came at me at the angle, and I, as a goalkeeper, tried to push him away. I couldn't push him away. He kept coming straight at me. And when I went to dive at his feet, he toe poked the ball, he hit my shin, and he put the empty ball in the empty net. And he said, you didn't expect that, Al, did you? No. He said, I did. And because we went to Anfield the next day, and Liverpool had a corner, we were kicking towards the Kop, and I took the cross and I threw the ball to Paddy, not realising, I'd forgot about all this. And Paddy turned and just nonchalantly hit the same ball, and Bestie was on his bike, and he went to the ball. He got between Smith and Lawler. Emmy Hughes tried to come across. He couldn't catch him. Tommy Lawrence did exactly what I did. And what did he do? He toe poked the ball, hit his shin, and he put the ball in the empty net. And just stood there and put his fist up to the Kop and laughed at him and ran all the way back.
It's the way to celebrate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. But you played with Maisie. Players, they done things, in training, and it was fantastic to watch. But to be part of it was even better.